So now we're going to look at how you would find some more in-depth specific information about the particular journal that you're looking at. So one of the things you'd want to do is check out the homepage, see if there's anything there that talks about how the journal's put together or how to submit articles or anything like that. So here there's not really anything that's telling me a whole lot about the journal itself. However, I do see it's calling itself a monthly magazine instead of a journal, so that is probably not a good sign. The next thing I'm going to look at is if I wanted to write for this journal, what would they require of me? So in the manuscript guide sheet, it's going to give you an idea of what they're looking for in an article, what they'd like that article to be about, different topics that they write about. One of the things you would want to be interested in is the review process. So manuscripts deemed suitable for review go to a panel of Illinois Bar Journal editorial board. The panel decides whether to accept it or reject it. So this is a static editorial board, not really a peer review. So in this case, I would say this is not actually a scholarly journal, and you'd probably want to find some other kind of publication. However, the other information it does give you here, how many words the articles are, what sort of endnotes and citations that you should use, that you need to include a summary and a biography, all different kinds of information like that. We're going to take a look at the Journal of the American Mathematical Society. Again, we're going to check out the home, which has a lot of information on it. Looks like this society actually publishes a bunch of different journals, but I'm going to come over here and look at information for authors. And let's look at journal author resources. This is the one that I started looking at, so I'm just going to continue with that. So here we go. There's a submission for peer review, so we know this one is peer reviewed. Describes what kind of peer review, who knows what about the peer review, and what that process looks like. And then goes on to talk about requirements for the paper, what sort of footnotes should be used, and the process that it goes through when it is accepted for publication. So that's not super detailed information, but there is some good information there. American Art is another peer-reviewed scholarly journal, tells you right there, so we know it's peer-reviewed. Here are some things you might want to check out. Take a look at the editorial board. That can give you an idea of who makes up that board and what kind of qualifications they have. You might also want to look at the submission guidelines for, again, that same kind of information. So here is what they're looking for. You need to use Chicago style, it needs to be double spaced, so all the formatting things are there. There's some information about images. Since this is an art journal, it's really going to be focusing on that. And then it goes through all the procedures and formats that they're looking for. So that's another example of not super detailed, but a lot of good detail. For an example of a super detailed one, let's look at the Journal of the American Medical Association. In there for authors, you check out the About section, so we know it's peer-reviewed, who its audience is, how frequently it's published, all that kind of information. But then we're also going to go back and check out instructions for authors. So here we can see what the editorial policies are. There's a lot of information there, how timely it needs to be, what needs to be included, what should be left out, the peer review process and editing process, what types of articles they're looking for. So this one gets very, very detailed in the amount of information it offers about their publication process.